We spend our lives chasing a perfect version of ourselves. But the great thinker Carl Jung taught that true power isn't found in the light. It's found in the dark. The gold is hidden in your shadows, the fears, the doubts, the secret longings. Until you have the courage to turn and face them, you will keep living the same year over and over again. Stop running, start integrating. This is how you don't just change your life, you finally become who you were always meant to be. We all want a better life, one that feels more alive, grounded, and powerful. There's a pervasive myth that getting there requires a massive, dramatic overhaul, quitting the job, moving cities, ending it all to start anew. We believe we must burn everything down to find fulfillment, but that's not the truth. Real transformation doesn't happen in one explosive moment. It's forged in the small, quiet, consistent actions that seem insignificant at first. The secret to a changed life isn't intensity, it's consistency. It's not what you do once, but what you do every day. The habits you repeat, the small decisions, the way you respond when things go wrong, these are the builders of your future. Too often, we chase the big breakthrough while ignoring the small disciplines. We get inspired for a few days, then revert to the very patterns we're trying to escape. We fail to build momentum, not from a lack of potential, but from underestimating the power of the small. Yet, everything great starts small. Every deep relationship began with a single conversation. Every strong body began with one workout. This is about making the smallest possible changes that yield the biggest difference. It's about anchoring your day in rituals that shift your mindset and bring you back to your center. One day, you'll look around and realize your life is different, not because you forced it, but because you quietly and consistently refused to stay the same. Make your bed. The power of a tidy start, the first habit, making your bed, sounds too simple to matter, but its power lies in that simplicity. It's not just about a tidy room. It's about starting your day with order, intention, and a victory. It's the first decision you make, and it sets the tone for every decision that follows. When you hit snooze and rush out the door, you send a message to your subconscious, "I'm not in control." But when you take 60 seconds to make your bed, you declare, "This space matters. I matter. I am in charge of how this day begins." This isn't about perfection, it's about ownership. You prove to yourself that you've already accomplished something, created clarity from disorder. This feeling carries into everything else. How you do the small things is how you do everything. The person who takes a moment to create order in their space carries a different energy into their day. They've chosen intention over impulse. It's a symbolic act that draws a line between rest and action. At the end of a hard day, you return not to more chaos, but to a space you cared for, a reminder that you started strong. This one small win primes your mind for more, building momentum from the very first moment. Drink a full glass of water. Hydrate. To activate the second habit is drinking a full glass of water upon waking. We seek breakthroughs in complexity, but they're often found in the basics. After hours of sleep, your body is dehydrated, your cells are thirsty, and your brain is groggy. Many of us reach for stimulants before we've even replenished our system. You don't need to generate more energy. You need to unlock the energy you already have. Hydration does that. It wakes you up from the inside, telling your body, "We're starting this day with clarity." This isn't just a health trend, it's about momentum. By doing something that serves your body first, you affirm that your well-being matters. You say, "I fuel before I grind." Those who thrive are proactive, not reactive. That glass of water is a ritual that says you give yourself what you need before the world starts making demands. When you drink it, slow down, feel it. It's a moment of presence, choosing clarity over clutter. Over time, this consistency builds a quiet confidence. You trust yourself to take care of what matters, and you begin to operate from a place of fullness, not depletion. It all starts with one simple, nourishing choice. Stand still for 60 seconds. Find your anchor. The third habit is to stand still for 60 seconds before your day truly begins. No rushing, planning, or worrying, just a quiet, present pause. Most of us are thrown into our day, pulled from sleep directly into noise and urgency. We never pause, so we never anchor ourselves. This minute isn't about productivity, it's about awareness. It's giving yourself space to remember, I'm here, I get to do this. Most stress comes not from our responsibilities, but from how we enter them by reacting instead of preparing. When you stand still, you change your frequency. You create space to choose your response, to remember your values, and to remind yourself that you are not your schedule. This habit rewires you to lead, not chase. With 1 minute of stillness, you reclaim ownership of your day, saying, "Before I go into the world, I return to myself." Your body hears it. Your breath slows, your mind quiets, your nervous system resets. Calm becomes your new baseline. This practice builds emotional muscle, teaching your system that you can pause and choose, rather than automatically reacting to every stimulus. Write down one sentence. Capture your growth. The fourth habit is to write down one sentence at the end of each day. Not a journal, just a single, honest sentence about what you learned, noticed, or felt. Most people leave their days and then forget them, letting them blur into a hollow loop. This simple act disrupts that. You claim something from the day, declaring, "This mattered." When you reflect, you grow. You connect the dots and notice patterns. Today, I stayed calm when I wanted to snap. I kept going when I wanted to quit. It doesn't have to be profound, just true. Over time, these sentences stack up into a real record of your life, not the highlight reel, but the quiet progress, the invisible growth. When you don't track your journey, you forget the battles you've won and the strength you've built. This habit is a mirror to who you are becoming. It builds emotional intelligence by teaching you to name your feelings and understand your triggers. One sentence is enough to hold your story together and remind you, "I'm growing," even when it doesn't feel like it. Take a walk without distraction. Find clarity in motion. The fifth habit is to take one daily walk without distractions. Just you, your breath, and your thoughts. We live in a constant state of internal and external noise, never giving our minds room to breathe and let the dust settle. Movement is medicine, not just for the body, but for the mind. When you walk without distraction, something shifts. You start to hear your quieter, wiser self again. This isn't about burning calories. It's about burning off the mental weight of decisions, expectations, and information. It creates space between stimulus and response. Your brain wasn't designed to be plugged in 24/7. It needs open space and movement without input to sort, integrate, and restore. 10 or 15 minutes is all it takes. At first, the silence might feel uncomfortable, but stay with it. Let your mind process. You'll come back with less anxiety and more peace, not because your circumstances changed, but because your mindset did. This habit builds mental resilience. When you practice being alone with your thoughts, you stop fearing them and needing constant distraction to cope. It's a necessary reset to return to yourself, stronger and clearer. Pause before you respond. The power of a single breath. The sixth habit is to pause before you respond. Just a breath, a single second of space between what happens and what you do next. Most people don't pause, they react. They fire off words from reflex, not reflection. This reflex is costly. It creates tension, ruins conversations, and reinforces a mindset where emotion, not intention, is in control. When you pause, you take your power back. In that tiny break, you choose how to show up. You choose clarity over speed, maturity over defensiveness. That second is where you remember what matters and see the situation beyond your initial reaction. It's where you decide, I will speak for myself, not let my emotions speak for me. Train this habit in small moments. A frustrating email, a traffic jam, an unexpected comment. Pause. Breathe. Remind yourself that you don't have to match the energy of the moment. You can bring your own. This doesn't make you passive. It makes you deliberate and present. Presence is what gives your words weight and your decisions strength. Real power is found not in a quick retort, but in the calm restraint of the pause. Say no when you need to. The sacred act of boundaries, the seventh habit, is saying no when you need to. Every time you say yes to something that doesn't align with your purpose, you say no to something that does. Every time you agree just to keep the peace, you sacrifice your own. Most people are exhausted not from what they're doing, but from what they're tolerating. They believe saying no is selfish, but boundaries aren't selfish, they're sacred. They are the lines you draw to protect your time, energy, and peace. Saying no is not rejection, it's protection. If you don't guard your space, no one else will. This habit reinforces that your life is yours. And just because something is asked of you doesn't mean it must be given. A simple, clear no is enough. Thank you, but I won't be able to. I appreciate the offer, but I'm going to pass. No guilt, no over-explaining. Saying no is a muscle that gets stronger with use. It reclaims your time and energy, allowing your yes to have real meaning. The people who respect your no are the ones who belong in your life. You stop building resentment and start living in alignment with your own truth. Write things down instantly. The art of capturing clarity, the eighth habit, is writing things down the moment they matter, not later. Your memory is not a reliable hard drive, and what you forget, you cannot act on. This isn't about organization. It's about honoring your moments of clarity. An idea, a commitment, a realization. It's your job to capture it before it fades into the noise. Most people lose countless good ideas every day because they trust their memory, which is fragile. Writing things down makes you a person of intention. You understand that clarity is sacred and must be preserved. When you write it down, you act on it. This habit builds trust in your own process. It frees up mental space because you've created a structure on paper to hold your thoughts. This is for big goals and small stuff alike. A question, a quote, a decision made with a clear mind. When you write it down, you give that clarity a home, protecting it from being washed away by the next distraction. It's a simple system. Respect your thoughts enough to give them permanence. It's the difference between drifting and having anchors. Leave things better. The ripple effect of contribution, the ninth habit, is to leave things better than you found them. This applies not just to spaces, but to moments, people, and the energy around you. It requires only intention. Most people move through life as consumers, taking what they need and leaving the rest. But those with purpose treat every moment as a chance to create a small ripple of improvement. This isn't about perfection, it's about presence. You can wipe the counter, straighten a chair, or leave a conversation with more kindness than when you entered. The mindset is simple. I am here to contribute, not just pass through. This belief trains your mind to look for ways to add value, bring peace, and reduce friction. This habit builds character in silence. You do it not for credit, but because it's who you are. This is where self-respect grows. You begin to realize that how you do one thing is how you do everything. Your environment reflects your internal standards. Every time you fix a small thing, you remind your mind, I leave things better. This becomes the foundation of integrity. What you do when no one is watching. End your day on purpose. The power of intentional closure, the final habit, is to end your day on purpose. Don't just collapse into sleep with your mind still racing. End with intention, signaling to your entire system, we are done for today. We rest now. Most people never finish their day, they just run until they crash. Their stress follows them into their sleep, so they wake up already behind. When you end your day with purpose, you create closure. You release the day's weight and give yourself permission to rest. You don't need an elaborate routine. 10 minutes of stretching, dimming the lights, taking 3 deep breaths. It's the intention that matters. It's a signal that says, we've done enough. This act of dignity teaches your mind that rest is a requirement, not a reward. It builds trust in your ability to live with rhythm instead of chaos. It allows for a moment of reflection. What did I carry today that I don't want to bring into tomorrow? This question is a filter, a release. The way you end your day becomes the way you start the next. By closing the day well, you ensure you can rise with clarity and strength. The unseen power of your choices. You don't need to change your whole life at once. You need something small, quiet, and consistent. These 10 habits are proof that change begins not in a breakthrough, but in a breath, a moment of awareness, a second of intention. When you stack these moments, your life begins to shift. It starts when you make your bed, drink your water, pause for a breath. It builds when you capture a thought, take a walk, and guard your energy by saying no. It solidifies when you choose your response, leave things better, and close your day with dignity. None of these habits are flashy, but they build something far more valuable than attention. They build trust with yourself. You won't always feel motivated, but these habits don't need your motivation. They only need your commitment to show up and do the small thing that builds the strong thing. Life doesn't change when you do everything. It changes when you do something again and again, until you look around and realize you've become the person you always wanted to be.